9 months ago with 7 out of 10 speeches completed from the Competent Communicator Manual and completed his Advanced Communicator Silver Award yesterday afternoon. He is now working on the coveted Advanced Communicator Gold Award. Tonight he'll be speaking from the Leadership Excellence Series on goal setting and planning. His objective for his speech is to provide the audience with material and actionable steps they can implement immediately into their personal lives. Speech title is Goal Setting and Planning, and your evaluator is Al, correct? You are evaluating him? I want to make sure. Mr. Tyner.
Yeah.
His speech is 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh, I thought it was 15 to 20. 10 to 15, okay.
10 to 15er. Is that what you want, Mr. Bryan?
Yes, ma'am.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Yep.
Please help me welcome Mr. Bryan Swanson, ACS to B Swanson, Goal Setting and Planning, a Leadership Excellence Series. Please help me welcome. Oh, I should have moved it for you. I apologize.
I was a furniture mover in my past life. It's okay. I got that down pat. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Goals. There's nothing you can do when you're inspired by them. What can happen when you believe in them? And what goes from there is when you act upon it. That's a rough quote by Jim Rohn that I've been reading over and over. It was close. We'll try to get it perfect next time. Because if y'all go back and research it, it might not be right. But today we want to get inspired by our goals. And what happens if we act upon those goals? Good things begin to happen in our lives, in our community, our businesses, our relationships. So what a perfect topic for goal setting and leadership. A goal is a specific object or something we are trying to obtain. And then a blueprint is the plan that's going to take us there. This is what you need, Santina, to get you to 0 yard. When thinking about goals and implementing them, the specific part of it is, what is the goal? What are you working toward? Have you written it down? If you haven't written it down, then it's what? It's just a dream. It's just a dream. It's nothing, there's nothing more. You have to write it down to be able to move forward. Second portion of that is it measurable? Is it something that you can measure in your life? If you're dealing with something maybe personal, and that's what your goal is, let's say you want to walk 3 miles a day, but you haven't walked in a long time. And as you're working up towards that, you start to walk a 1/4 mile a day. And that's measurable. If you're working in your business, and maybe it's a revenue objective, that's also a measurable thing. You can talk to your accountant. You can talk to your sales manager, and they can give you the numbers. But you want to know if it's measurable. If it's not, then it's not a good goal. You need to go back and reassess your goal and figure out exactly what it is you're trying to accomplish. And make sure that it's measurable. The third step is to ensure that you have action-oriented steps to include along the way. I like to think about it like this, as if I'm standing at a staircase with 100 steps. And I've got to begin with the first step to make it to the second step, because I'm certainly not going to jump to the second step, or the third, fourth, or fifth. And I need steps or stepping stones to get there. And when I'm looking back at my specific goal, are there steps that I can take to get there and plot my path? If there's not, then maybe I need to go back to the drawing board and rewrite my goal or reevaluate it. See what's going on there. And really that brings us into our next point. Is it realistic? And that's a huge one. I think oftentimes people set bombastic goals that are so far out there that they aren't obtainable. And they are like dreams. It'd be somebody saying who's never owned a home, well, I would like to build a castle. And they've never owned a home or built a home. That would be a difficult thing to do. Not that it can't be done, but the steps don't really seem to be there. It would seem like jumping from the bottom all the way to the 100th step, if that was your particular goal. So it needs to be realistic. And if it's not, you need to go back through the process and kind of vet yourself a little bit and ensure that it is. Find out exactly what it is you're trying to achieve so that you do get inspired and that you have that fire to pursue whatever goal it is. The last is a big pregnant pause.
Yeah.
Timely.
Timing?
Timely.
Timely.
Smart goals.
I don't know what.
Deadline.
I see what you're saying now. Time sensitive. Does it have a time stamp on it? That kind of goes back to measurable. Is it something that's measurable? If you have a time where, let's say you do want to walk 3 miles a day, and that's what your goal is. What are you going to accomplish it? Is it going to be 3 months from now? Half a year from now? A year from now? You need to put some kind of a time stamp on it, and if you don't, then it can just go away from you, and it really is just one of those things that's a dream. There's no way to catch up to it. Like me working on my Advanced Communicator Silver. I put a time stamp that I really wanted to have it done by July, and then I got it done a month earlier. So now I have a time stamp to do the Advanced Communicator Gold by the end of August, so maybe I'll have it done by July. But if I didn't put that time stamp on there, I wouldn't have worked so hard. There wouldn't have been a deadline. There would have been no incentive. It would have just been open-ended. They're like, oh, you know, I'll get to it. I'll do it whenever. You know how those things go, right? They go nowhere. That's where they go. Moving on to the planning portion and thinking about planning. How do we establish a blueprint? Well, first we want ways to reinforce our goals, to stay connected with them. If you're working within a business and you're in a sales organization, as I've been in many sales organizations, well, they'll tell you every single day what your numbers are. I mean, they'll break it down. They will break it down to some ridiculous stuff. You know, you were on the phone for 1 minute and 9 seconds over here, and that generated $92.56 profit. And you were on the phone here. So if you want to know your numbers, they'll bring them to you. You need to have a reinforcing goal to keep coming back at you. In other words, keep it current. Keep it in front of your face. Put it on the mirror in your bathroom. Now I'm going to walk 3 miles a day. And I'm going to do everything I can until I accomplish that goal within 1 year. Something like that. But that way it keeps it current. So you have kind of that weekly, monthly. I wouldn't go too much further than that. I'd probably actually do it daily. But I wouldn't go past monthly, because then it's really not a serious commitment. The second thing you want to think about is establishing strategies to be able to tackle this goal. The strategies and the stepping stones are kind of layered into one. At least that's the way that I think about it. What stones am I going to step on to get me to that objective? How am I going to go across this pond? if I'm moving from one landmass to another and I got to step across these little stones. It's my strategy. Do I need a pole to push myself to step on this stone? And what strategy here and what strategy there? And as I move along, I also need to think about, am I using my resources efficiently as well? So if you're working by yourself on a single goal, your resources are yourself. If you're within a relationship, and maybe it's a home thing that you're working on, well then it's maybe a two-pronged situation, where it's two people that are working on a similar goal. Or if it's a business, it could be a group of individuals. But what you want to do is you want to assess what you have in resources. Can I do this? Can I walk 3 miles a day? Is it even possible? 2, can we make our relationship work? Or how can we make it even better? And as a business, can we really achieve our financial goals? Do we have the resources and the capabilities to do that? When you go back to the two people, you're like, do we have the wherewithal to be able to stand each other long enough to make it work? We've been married for I don't even know how long. And then the other people are like, we just love. And that's perfect. And as you move forward, you need to be flexible. Because challenges come up all the time. How many times do we hit a bump in the road and then it stops us on our goal? Right. We're just dead in our tracks. I know it's happened to me. I'll be working on a particular goal, something will happen, and all of a sudden I'm off track, and once I'm off track, it's very hard to get back on track. It's very difficult. So stay flexible and work with those challenges. If you have challenges within a business organization, my advice is to crush it. And what I mean by that is that if there's an issue that comes up and you let it fester and you let it continue to go on and you do not crush it immediately, in other words, you're the leader. You make the decision and be done with it. But if you let it go on too long, it's like the challenge is still there every day. And that little speed bump you hit now is a massive wall that you got to break through. And that is a real challenge. So don't let it come to that. Crush it. So I began with a quote from Jim Rohn. And I botched it a little. Hey! That's the way these things go. But I'm going to end with a quote from Jim Rohn. There's no telling what you can do when you work on your goals. And your goals will go to work on you. If you work on your plan will go to work on you. The things that we build up end up building us.
Yes. Did you send that quote in his email?
Yes, I got it right here.